Giannis Antetokounmpo revealed to us how he processes loss at the end of an NBA season. What we all can guarantee is that we all will experience loss, defeat, setback in some way, shape, or form. And because we're all going to experience it, whether it be us, ourselves, or whether it be our kids, we all are going to be in a position to be able to teach and help other people to process loss, defeat, and setbacks in their own lives. So as we reflect on how he processed it, I figured we put up his video, we'd go through it, and we dissect a little bit about his perspective as he went through loss, and they had an exit from the playoffs. And we look at what we can learn from Giannis, what flaws exist in his perspective. We'll get a chance to play it right here.
The shots be a different case. You know, some days you make it, some days you miss.
Here's for you. Do you view this season as a failure?
All right, so here's the question. The reporter asks, do you view this season as a failure? Do you view it as a loss? How do you process? He's asking him that question. That's the setup. I just lost it for a second. Let me go back.
Keep moving the ball.
The exact same question.
Oh my God.
All right. Do you view this season as a failure? Let Giannis take it from here.
Okay, because I'm not that up. You asked me the same question last year, Eric. Okay. Do you get the promotion every year?
So what you can tell is Giannis is a little bothered by the question, and shout out to his memory for being able to remember that from a whole year later. I suppose when he got kicked out of the playoffs last year, when he lost in the playoffs, the reporter asked him the same question, and so that's where we get this gem. Let's let him continue.
On your job, no, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no?
His thought process isn't bad. He said, with your job, in your situation, do you view every single year that you don't get a promotion as a failure? And the answer to that, yeah, it's a no.
No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, provide the house for them or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success. You know, and if you've never, I don't want to make it personal.
All right. So here he says, it's not a failure. It's steps to success. And it brings back this question. As a coach, I'm often in situations to help people process success, to get more success in their lives. And so success, is it a destination, or is success a process? Clearly from Giannis's perspective, he's talking about that success paradigm from the process. And the reason we even see it as worthy to examine not just professional athletes, but the elite professional athletes. Giannis has year after year after year, I mean, we're talking at least 5 years strong, that he's been in the top 5 finishing in the MVP race. So we're talking about the elite of the elite of the elite when it comes to finishing in the NBA MVP race. And so as we listen to him and engage with his perspective, it does show us how he processes it and maybe what's helped him to be this successful. Let's let him continue.
So there's always steps to it. You know, Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure? That's what you're telling me?
And he's using a solid example. He's talking about the GOAT himself, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan himself. Does anybody consider him a failure? Nah. consider him the greatest. And in fact, whenever it comes down to the conversation about it, who is the greatest, it's often cited his flawless record in the NBA Finals. Solid example.
No, I'm asking you a question. Yes or no? Okay, exactly. So why you asking me that question?
So again, you could hear his annoyance, his irritation at the question. And what I want you to think about in all of this is if you were sharing with children, I get a chance. One of the things I get to do is I get to coach a t-ball team, with whatever. We have 9 players on our team. They range from 4, 5, 6, 7-year-olds. And as we coach the team, let's say, our playoffs are coming up around the corner. Would I be somebody, if we don't win the championship, would I be somebody who said, you know what, you're all failures because we did not win the championship? And it's really clear that I wouldn't have that approach. What other things would I look at? I would look at progress. I would look at how many steps we took toward where we're trying to get to. I'd be looking at much more than just the championship. It'd be much more than that. So he is onto something here. And if you stay to the end of the video, we'll get a chance to insert a passage of scripture to give some context to even what he's talking about here.
It's a wrong question. There's no failure in sports. There's good days, bad days. Some days you are able to be successful, some days you're not. Some days it's your turn, some days it's not your turn. And that's what sports is about. You don't always win. Some other people's gonna win. And this year, somebody else is gonna win. Simple as that. We're gonna come back next year, try to be better, try to build good habits, try to play better, not have a 10-day stretch with playing bad basketball, and hopefully we can win a championship.
And so notice all of his language when he's talking about getting better, getting the right habits, better basketball. He's talking about progress. So what we do see with Giannis is that for him, success is about the journey, not just the destination. So it's more than destination. It's the journey. It's process. It's improvement. It's progression.
So 50 years from 1971 to 2021 that we didn't win a championship, it was 50 years of failures? No, it was not. It was steps to it, and we were able to win one. Hopefully we can win another one. Sorry that I didn't want to make it personal because you asked me the same question last year, and last year I was in the right mind space to answer the question back, but I remember it. Next.
Do you guys feel you?
So what I want to do next is get a chance to look at a Bible passage to give some context even to how to process some of these things. It's how do we know when to feel good about ourselves, to take pride in ourselves, and to have this identity that's centered in strength, that's centered in again a wholesome foundation. And so as we think about that, let me pull up that text that I really wanted you to process. And in verse 3 of the book of Galatians, it tells us, if anyone thinks they are something when they are not, they deceive themselves. Each one should test their own actions. Then they can take pride in themselves alone without comparing themselves to someone else. For each one should carry their own load. And I bring up this passage because sometimes we get so caught up in comparing ourselves to the people around us, the people next to us, the people online, the people we work with, the people that we see. Again, we use so much of our identity based on what the scoreboard says in the comparison. Yet this passage tells us to take pride in ourselves without the comparison to anybody else. So I can feel good about me by assessing and analyzing my actions. You know what? Like, So even for Giannis, when Giannis is going through and he's oh, yeah, right, the end goal, the output or the result wasn't what we wanted. But there's still so much goodness that came out of the season that I have to take pride in. So this season wasn't a wash. There's steps to this thing. And so I do want to hear from you, though. How do you process success? How do you process defeat when you've lost, when you've had a setback? How do you leverage a frame that best helps you move forward? Let me know in the comment.